Hi, I'm William McEniry from the Australian Institute of International Affairs. I'm here today with His Excellency Dr. Hussain Al-Ameri, the current Ambassador of Iraq to Australia and New Zealand. Thank you for joining us.
You're welcome.
You've been Ambassador now for 1 year?
Almost.
Yep, almost. So my first question is, what do you see as the strongest aspect of Australia and Iraq's bilateral relationship today?
It's going forward very well. There is a very good cooperation. There is a mutual visits between the VIPs, like foreign ministers, like the prime ministers. In addition, there is a backup and support of Australian side to Iraq in fighting ISIS and international terror. We find that we are cooperating very well toward improving our relations, which will be extended to other relations regarding the economical aspect. This is really through our visits, through our frequent visits to our colleagues in the DFAT, we see that they are very happy through our relations and through our cooperations regarding the consulate services, regarding the helping of the Australian troops to go to Iraq to do their job in consultation of the military power there.
Yeah. In Australia, there are many Iraqi refugees and immigrants. So what obstacles do you think there are for them coming to Australia, settling in Australia and integrating into Australian communities and society?
As you know, they are coming from Iraq, which, let's say, it is a third world community. They have their habits, they have their tradition, they have their culture. What is a simple problem facing is that, for example, the language, the habits, the communication with the Australian people. Of course, Australia is a multicultural country, and it is easy for different cultures to communicate and to live together, but on condition that the newcomers are supposed to learn the tradition, to learn the rules, to learn the habits, to communicate with the Australian society. This is really the duty of the Australian community centers. I have been and I worked as a volunteer in Canada in such communities. We help the newcomers to learn the language. We help them to go to the market. We help them to deal with the basis, the daily basis and daily work. Accordingly, I hope that the community center have their duty to help the newcomers, the Iraqi refugees, to be well integrated in the Australian society.
Yeah. Now, moving on to a much broader area, what security implications do you see for Iraq and the uncertainty of the Middle East under the new administration of American President Donald Trump?
You know, any authority and any president when coming has his own style, has his own policy, and accordingly Mr. Trump is different than Mr. Obama. He has his policy, he has his ways to rule whatever the situation is. I don't want to follow the opinion that is overestimated. There are some decisions which is hot me name them, but regarding the cooperation and regarding the United States-Iraqi relations, it's going forward as it was. The helping of Iraqi and supporting of Iraq again in fighting Daesh is the same, and this was released and was shown in phone call between Prime Minister Al-Abadi and the President Trump. They called each other, and he proved that the United States is still helping and supporting Iraq. And on the ground we see it. We see it on the daily basis that the allies and the American powers and the American aircraft hitting ISIS centers in Mosul and in all the fields in Iraq where the ISIS is present. So there is no any change till now we have seen in the behavior of the American powers and the American military people. Again, I want to say that there is no change, and also there is, according to the release of speeches from the VIPs, from intelligence, from the military people, and from the diplomatic personnel, that United States is a stick to back up Iraq and is still helping Iraq. Okay, there may be a change, but we don't to be in a hurry to decide. We are seeing that it is the same. We are seeing that there is no change. There are here and there press releases and media saying there is change, there is so and so, but on the ground, in reality, we haven't seen any change till now. So that Mr. Trump told Al-Abadi through different channels, whether diplomatic, military, or by self, that we are still supporting Iraq in fighting Daesh and supporting Iraq in all aspects.
You just mentioned in that last answer Mosul, so that brings me to a more localized question in Iraq. Since October 2016, Iraqi forces and even international forces have been involved in an offensive to take back Iraq's second biggest city of Mosul from the Islamic State. So can you just give us an update of how those operations are going and what else there is to be achieved in such an important operation in Iraq?
The operation is really going very well and very successful. The allies, the different Iraqi military divisions are going forward. The biggest half of the city, which is the left side, is already liberated, and the majority of people coming back to their home. They are in preparation, in final stage of preparation to liberate the right side. The right side really need special plans. Why? Because it is heavily lived with civilians, and the ISIS people are sitting and infiltrated between civilians, and the military powers have strict commands and instructions that it is not allowed for any military member to hit civilians. Also, it is not allowed to hit ISIS members when they are between civilians. Accordingly, it will take time, and accordingly the preparation took time to attack in order to save the spirits of the civilians. Meanwhile, I see that militias, there is no any militias participating in the liberation of Daesh, because the Popular Army, which is previously known as militia by some medias, it is not militia because it is part of the Iraqi power divisions, and they are working under decision approved and legislations approved by the Iraqi parliament. So they are official part of the military, Iraqi military powers, and they follow up the commands of the Prime Minister as a leader of the power military army.
And when the Iraqi forces take back all of Mosul, what steps are there for the reconstruction and the safeguarding of Mosul and villages that have been so heavily devastated by the Islamic State?
This is what is the good question, and we are worried about the day after. The day after, really, Iraqi politicians preparing for the day after from now. There are very good meetings and too many meetings between the conflicting groups, conflicting parties, to repair the relations, to put guidelines, to put rules, to live safely, and to start rebuild Iraq, and to think as Iraqis and not as belonging to this party or that. All of them are ready and express their readiness to help and cooperate together, and they are about to put guidelines of cooperation in order to rebuild Iraq and in order to help resettling of Iraq.
Well, thank you very much for a very intriguing insight into Iraq and Australia's relationship, as well as Iraq's role in a very uncertain Middle East at the moment. Thank you very much.
Yeah, it is my pleasure.
For more information on the Australian Institute of International Affairs, including events and memberships, please visit internationalaffairs.org.au and follow us on Twitter and Facebook.